Starting a business in South Africa is challenging, but luckily for you, I've done my research so you don't have to. What's up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Denelle. If this is your first time here, welcome to my coffee drinking, Jesus loving little corner of the internet. I am a 24-year-old entrepreneur that I would say I'm doing really well. If you ask anyone of my friends and family, they would say I'm doing really well as well. So I have compiled my list of things I wish I knew before starting a business, or just the basics of starting a business in South Africa, what you need to know. And just a disclaimer, I am not a professional. I did not study business. This is just things that I have learned since opening my business. And I wanted to share that with you in case you're interested in starting your own business. It is the most basic of basic tips. So welcome to the basics of starting a business in South Africa. Number one would be identifying your service, product, brand, business. Obviously, you need to figure out what you're good at or what you're passionate about and how you can turn that into a business. So this means doing your research, finding other businesses that do similar products or similar services, and finding how you can stand out. So for example, if you are, I'll use me actually as an example. If you are opening up a modeling agency, you could do models and influencers. Or like me, you could do models, influencers, and content creation. So it really just depends on your idea. So try to find a way to differentiate who you are, what your brand is, what your brand is selling, and also figure out your target audience. Who are you aiming to reach or sell these to? Young people, older people, people living in rural areas, or people living in big cities, or people living in small towns. Really just ask yourself any question you can think of relating to your business and just write it down. My biggest tip would be writing it down. Write it down. Number two, which might be a little bit controversial, but it is to get inspired. The hardest thing about starting a business is having the motivation to continue when it gets hard. So I personally love creating Pinterest boards, and every time something sparks joy, I just pin it. Whether it's office decor or branding elements that I enjoy, or if I see a business doing something I'm attracted to, I would say, oh, okay, how could we make this into what we're doing? So get inspired. My favorite places is definitely Pinterest. We Heart It is a really good one. Also TikTok and Instagram. You can find so many different ideas and inspo from Instagram. So get inspired before you even develop your brand identity and your values. Which leads me to number three, establish your values. The first thing I did as an entrepreneur was figure out what are my value systems. This is something that I hold very dearly to my heart. It is something that I have learned, and that is why I started my agency, because there were a lot of values that I had that my industry did not have, and I wanted to infuse my values into the industry. So what are your values? If you go and look at our website, you will see our values are clearly stated, and in the articles that we have done or every meeting we have, we always make sure to bring up our values. And the reason for that is because think of your values as your roots of your tree, okay? Your roots keep you rooted. But your roots keep you rooted, and during the months and times where things get a little bit hard and there's no leaves on your tree and the winds are blowing through the branches, the only thing that keeps you grounded is your roots, and that is your value system. You will be able to turn down things that are not for you because it doesn't align with your values, but you will only know what doesn't align with your values when you establish your values. So number three, establish your values. Number four, now that you have your values down, you are inspired, you have a clear vision of what your business is, it's time to start registering and developing your brand. The first thing I would recommend is starting your social media pages. If you are a brand that doesn't require a website just yet, good for you. If you are a brand that requires a website, there are so many different tools and resources that you can use that will help you in this. So I am sure you guys have seen the one Squarespace, which helps a lot. You can customize your website, launch it, and they can host it for you. Or you could use WordPress or Wix, or you could find a web developer. So once you have decided if you are using a website or not, then you can go ahead developing your logo. I created my logo on Canva, believe it or not. I'm sure you can believe it, but I created my logo on Canva. Canva is my favorite tool, but they've got a bunch of templates that you can choose from and fully customize. You don't have to go big to start. Literally, just start. Once you have set all of that up, then you can start figuring out the kinds of posts you want to post. Do you want to do a soft launch, a hard launch, or do you just want to start posting from the get-go? Figure all of that out, and again, write it down, because you would be so happy that you've got this all written down, and I promise you, you will look back and you'll be like, oh, that was, oh. It's very cool to go back and look at what you've done. Number 5 is capital. You do need a good share of money in order to start a business, but you do not need 100,000 or millions of rands. You literally just need enough to get your feet off the ground. So whether that's a small savings or looking for investors, taking your ideas to people to be partners with you, whatever you need to do to develop that capital in order to just start, get that done, because that is important. You do need capital. Websites, website hosting, registering your company, all of that does take a small amount of money, and it would be so easy if you just had that saved up, or if you had an investor helping you out. So once you've developed your idea, you have your brand, you know who your target audience is, you know what your value system is, you've set up your website, you've set up your Instagram. Now it's time to make your brand known. And there are so many ways you can do this. There are so many different ways to market your brand, free and obviously with paid stuff. So you can do promotions on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, where you promote the ads so that they go out and reach more people. You can host giveaways. You can get your friends to come and model the products for you, or you can get your friends to come and record you doing the service that you are providing and have that as your social media content to show people what you're about. Don't ever be afraid to make a brand personal. I think a lot of people have it in their heads that, okay, this business has to be professional and it has to be a certain kind of way. And yes, all businesses need to have that level of professionalism, but don't forget to add you into your business, because that is also a defining feature. The only thing that separates you from your competitors is you, and what you decide to do with you and your business. Once you get to a space where you have a few clients coming in, you can then start looking at working with influencers. If you're a small business and you want to work with influencers, hit me up, I'll help you out. But then you can start looking to work with influencers, because that is growing your brand and marketing your brand with more people. Obviously, there's a lot to consider when finding influencers for your brand. Again, I can do a whole separate video on that, on what to look for, what we look for. Sometimes it does get a little bit hard, so I highly recommend looking for someone that can mentor you. I am currently in that phase where I need a mentor, because some days I just want to give up, but I will not give up because I persevere. But sometimes having a mentor really helps. It's really beneficial to have a mentor who has the same values or similar values to you. And also, don't be afraid to ask for help. Reach out to other people in the industry that inspire you and offer to take them out for a coffee or for lunch and hear what they have to say. You will never understand the power of a coffee and networking, which leads me to my next point, networking. Everywhere you go, be a sponge, make friends with people. People are incredible, okay? People are awesome. Yes, there are some people who are shit, That's life. But majority of people are just trying to get by. They're just trying to reach their goals and focus on growing themselves just like you are. Obviously, use your discernment, and if something doesn't feel right, if someone doesn't align with you, you've got to let that go, okay? Because a lot of people will also use you. So there's a very fine line between figuring out those who are there for you and those who are there to get something out of you. Right? But networking is very important. I cannot stress that enough. You can ask anyone that knows me. I know a lot of people. I make connections everywhere I go. A, because I love people, and B, because I know that one of my values is working with other businesses to grow our community. And how do I do that? If a company reaches out to me and they're looking for someone to do balloons for an event, I know exactly who to put them through to. So networking is great because you help other people grow as well. You grow with other people. And then just a few additional things to consider. Obviously, what is your social media strategy? I can chat more about developing a social media strategy and what exactly to look for when developing a social media strategy. Obviously, Google Business is a huge tool for entrepreneurs. Set up your business Google account, and every person that encounters your business or works with you, pop them a link to write a review. The more reviews you have and the more clicks you have through your website, through your Google business, the better your website ranks in search. So it is very beneficial for you to set up that Google business, get people to comment, put in the correct information, and just make your presence known online. And to close off, just a little bit of advice from me and some stuff that I wish I knew. It's hard. Some days are harder than others. Some days you feel like, damn, I am doing great. And some days you're just like, what am I even doing? Those days where you feel like, what am I even doing? Roll with the punches, okay? Because you have no idea what is happening. I always have this conversation with people, and I'm gonna sit back, I'm just gonna chill a little bit. I always have this conversation with people. While you're having the worst day of your life, somewhere, someone is doing something that is going to drastically change your life. Seriously, you will never know the reason for your season. Sometimes, and a lot of the times, a lot of people will not believe in you. It's always the people that are closest to you that will not believe in you. It's always the strangers on the internet or the people you don't expect that cheer you on the most. And it hurts. But let me tell you, focus on the people cheering you on. You just gotta keep doing you. You gotta keep being you. You gotta keep being authentic to you. And clients will see that. Businesses will be drawn to you. Clients will be drawn to you. So that is my advice as a 24-year-old entrepreneur. Like I said, I am in no way, shape, or form a professional at starting businesses, but this is my advice. This is what I went through. Roll with the punches. This has been the most wild, insane, and incredible journey of my life. I am thriving. I've never been happier. Being my own boss is incredible. It's everything I ever dreamed of, and I love it because I am in control. Yes, there's pros and cons, which we can talk about. I can talk about the pros and cons of being an entrepreneur, but the pros definitely outweigh the cons, and you're doing it all for you. So that's all that matters, you know? We spend our whole life working for people, dedicating almost 9 hours a day to help someone else reach their dreams. I think you can schedule out an hour a day to do something that will help you reach your dreams. So have an incredible day, and I will chat to you guys very soon. I'm gonna leave up my Entrepreneur Diaries episode 1 here in the cards. So if you haven't seen my vlogs or the start to my new series, Entrepreneur Diaries, again, up in the cards, and I love you so much. Bye. Baby, look at the time I'm running.